Monday, August 18th, market analysis, Stan Ehrlich. Good morning. Actually afternoon, sorry. 1:47 p.m. California time. Well, stock market indexes, I always start out with go to futures and then some stocks. And I'm in the process of creating my new report on the October lows. The market historically tends to bottom out during the month of October. Don't trust what I tell you. Check it out for your damn self. My report's going to outline 30 plus years yearly of the time period a little before October, and slightly after, and point out that this is absolutely correct. Last year, it didn't work out very well. There was one in the early and late October, but the years before that, and many years before that, there was a profoundly major investor low in October frequently. So all you have to do is ask info@ersignals.com, ask for the October lows report, and I'll send it to you. No problem, free of charge. Just like to have my viewers a little more educated, in particular, the most profound seasonal tendency or yearly cycle, if you want to use that phraseology, that I know of. And I'm Mr. Cycle Finder, the Ehrlich Cycle Finder, 1977. So we've got indexes are just not zipping along here very well, one way or the other. I'm not getting any significant downside breakouts. I'm not getting any buy or sell signals. I'm not getting any upside follow through, and that's about all I can say. The S&P, the A-mini, Yeah, and here's the next chart. I already skipped over the SPY daily. Came down a little bit. No big deal. Hardly lower. No breakouts. Very small range. The market is waiting for something to hit the fan, or who knows. Next, look at this, sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Unusual. QQQ, drifting lower slowly after being overbought, but not even back down to it got back down now to a previous high a couple of weeks ago. No breakouts, no nothing, just a little drift. The trend is up, obviously. The trend is your friend in general. I do see some minor indications that these markets could be ready to head south to a greater degree than they have, and really start something looking like it's going to go down into the month of October. But that really hasn't happened yet. I can't come to that conclusion yet. Just drifting off a little bit the last couple of days. And here's the YM, drifting off one really day. The new highs just don't have any follow through. Made a new high for the trend up lately on July 28th and dropped off to support and came right back up to the high on Friday. Another new high, poor close, a little slippage, nothing really. So I have to wait for something significant to develop to give you some idea as to what is going to happen next. How high is it going to go up? How low is it going to go down? Whatever. Doji on the Russell sideways today. We do have something happening in bonds. You know that I had past tense head and shoulder patterns that were looking real good, and they got ruined by dropping below, staying below, and trading for a couple, 3 days now, maybe 3 or 4 days. New low for the move down below the neckline, canceling out the head and shoulder bottom. So now what? Well, I can expect it to come down either close to or all the way back down to a support line at around a 111.5. 10-year notes dropping into support. New lows, a little bit lower close, new low close. Simply sliding off slowly, which implies we're not going to see lower rates. This goes down, rates go up, but not, on a day-to-day basis. They have to have pretty good sized swings in order for that rate change to really develop. Crude, sideways, slightly higher close, in a support area, did get oversold. This looks like it could rally a little. But I've got to see a new high close above the last, I say a week or more. And then I'd be looking for a move all the way up to 68 plus. Slightly lower low today than Friday, lower close than Friday. Natural gas, head and shoulder top formation, complex pattern, outlined it for many months, working great, no problem. A little bit of a bounce here for a few days is totally acceptable. It looks extremely like it did a couple of weeks ago, very similar to a couple of weeks before that. I'm looking for a move down to 1.1.5, pretty much, a lot lower, a lot lower. So this head and shoulder top is working great. I don't have any super good support levels, super close, that I'm going to outline at the moment. So just lower and lower and lower. Next, oversold today, first time. No particular support level, but actually there's a little bit here. Not great. Comes across the lows over here. There's a high over here that's good. Actually, you know what? These lines have been moved because the contract month has changed. So I'm going to drop these down a little. Oh, that's good. Now we're at the damn line. I'm sorry. And this one should be down a little also like that. All of them the equal amount and the buy zone. There we go. So now I'm back in business. That one's a little lower also. And of course, that vertical measuring line. Pretty much everything, even the circles around, anything that's a drawing object. All right, minor support, oversold, a little bit of a bounce, probably. Next. Bearish engulfing Thursday of last week. Not much happened Friday. Today we have a slightly lower low, slightly lower close. The break from the reversal and the breakout to the downside looks like it's starting. When we start to close around 33.16-ish, maybe even a little higher, that could cause it to drop through the support area down to the next support level, and that would be probably this level right here, and we're looking at 30, let go of the demo. There we go, 3,200-ish, maybe even lower. I'm going to erase this old line. It's not particularly important at the moment. Looks like an old bear trend line across tops or something. Yep, irrelevant now. Good. Next, silver. Maybe this is the last shoulder high. Friday, I drew in the neckline for you. So I'm watching for the way a head and shoulder top should move, and there's no violations yet. So we've got the first shoulder over here in June. It's a little double of sorts. So is the head of the formation, a little double of sorts. And so is the last, maybe, the last shoulder high, a little double of sorts. So there's symmetry involved, except that we don't have the same amount of time for the last shoulder from the top of the market relative to the top of the market to the first shoulder. So there's a discrepancy there. We're a little tight on the last shoulder. Not totally abnormal. So I'm thinking this could develop into a head and shoulder top with a last shoulder that's a little sooner than one would normally expect. Looks like this is testing support. Platinum. Copper can't seem to get anything going whatsoever after the big debacle on July 30th. Probably the biggest percentage down move and the biggest net down move in history. A huge collapse in a single day. More likely than not, something to do with tariffs. And a major bearish engulfing at the same time. So I'm looking for lower levels. We could have a bounce in the meantime, as I've been saying, and there was a very feeble bounce up to resistance. I kind of thought it might be a little bit bigger than that, but that's all we've got so far. Anytime now, it could start to drop another sharp drop again, I think. Soybeans and grains. Bearish engulfing a couple of days ago on Thursday of last week. Another little high today, but not higher than last Thursday, so this bearish engulfing is still good. The close today is down very slightly. I think we're about to start slipping. And that means back to support at a very bare minimum, the lows of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of last week. Then down to probably 1,000. Next. Oversold Thursday, Friday next week, dropping into a little support area. bouncing slightly. It could bounce a little more. I don't have a lot of faith in this. Really, real big sideways movement. Major resistance stopped the rally in overbought conditions. I'm looking for lower lows. But support, support and oversold could bounce in another day or two. Not much and not very long. Lower lows coming. Next, meal. Overbought. No particular reason for it to top out there except for overbought. Dropping off Friday and today. I'm sorry, there's nothing here that I can get overly excited about on the bullish side. I'm looking for the test of the lows of the trend and maybe even new lows. Corn. We did have a bullish engulfing on Thursday. A very sharp rally on Friday. Nice. Good follow through. Nice profit situation. And today we're holding our own. Looking for higher levels. Maybe we're going to come up and close this gap at 417.5. That's not out of the question. A little bit of a stretch, but not out of the question. I like the bullish engulfing almost on the low day exactly under oversold conditions at the same time. So that's optimistic. So I'm modestly friendly, not super trustworthy, but how can I blame you with a trend like that? So I really have to start closing above some important recent highs, 389.25, and maybe a little bit more. Then I'll be a lot more optimistic. Wheat. We have an outside trading range on the lower close, bearish engulfing, but that's all it is. It's not really an ER sell signal or buy signal one way or the other. It implies we're going to see lower lows, which we almost did today. I think the lows are the same for exactly 2 days ago, 500.75, and today the low is 500.75, exactly the same to the tick. Well, easy. Lower lows, coming down some more, probably below 490. Next, Shell. New low for a couple of 3 weeks now. Close wasn't below all the previous lows, but it was lower. And I do think it's going to start dribbling its way down some more. First stopping point might be about 70. Then we could even get down to 66. Next, Doji inside day overbought Apple in a major resistance area, and it's stopping around the top of the resistance area. Looking for it to turn down more. First support area 220, let's call it. Then a little gap to close. We're looking at 215. So between 215 and 220. Next, boy, the bullish support line, the top of the old pennant formation, held 1, 2, 3 on a closing basis 4, and today's low 5 out of 6 the last 6 days. Slightly higher close, doji, the low on the trend line. Looks like it's trying to hold this pattern and make new highs, but I don't like the fact that it was overbought after the breakout of the pennant. And you know how I feel about stock market indexes. I think they're about to have a big move down, which Tesla is probably going to get caught up in if I'm right about the indexes. Nvidia, slightly higher high, slightly higher close, but still staying below the previous bull trend line. That first close below the trend line was Friday, with a new low for a week plus. Today's bounce is not turning me bullish. It's still 100% below the trend line. Looking for lower levels. Probably a minimum test at 471, and I wouldn't rule out 150. What did I say? 470, 171. Yeah, test of 171, and I'm not ruling out 153. Next, back to the E-mini. You guys have a great day and profitable trading to you.